AM is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Citizens Bank Park overcast in Philly. Chance of rain later, but not right now. The Marlins and the Phillies finish off a 3-game series. The Phillies shutting out the Marlins last night. Harry Callis, get yourself a way back burger and get ready to go. Martin Prado, Freddie Galvis talking it over, and it's an Andrew Cashner start for the Marlins. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Jeff Conine. It's one of the great mysteries of 2016. Why can't the Marlins beat the Braves, and why can't they beat the Phillies? The Phillies have won 10 of 18, including last night's shutout.
Yeah, one of the great mysteries of this season. Unfortunately for the Marlins, they have not played well against the teams they should be beating, which right here is the Phillies. 8-10, like you said, Rich. Look at the disparity in the 8 wins, runs per game. Obviously, you would think that they'd be a little skewed during the wins, but these are massively skewed and have not played well at all in the losses.
Pitching last night, Jeremy Hellickson with a complete game 3-hit shutout, and Jose Urena, coming off the best start of his career, got knocked around early. So the Marlins need Andrew Cashner to throw well. Cashner, last time he faced the Phillies, he beat him and punched out 9.
Yeah, September 7th, probably his best start as a Marlin, 5 1/3, 9 strikeouts, but last week in Atlanta did not throw the ball very well.
The pride of Lakeland, Florida, Alec Asher goes. Asher, his career numbers don't sparkle all that much. Now, he's been suspended for 80 games this season. He's missed a lot of time. But look at him in his 2 starts since he's been back.
Yes, 2 starts they've been very impressed with the way he's throwing the ball. 1-0 record with a 1-4. He came over in that Texas deal with Cole Hamels.
Time running out on the Fish. They need to get up off the canvas and get a win. And it's Andrew Cashner on the hill. It's Cashner and the Marlins, the Phillies. We got the Fanatic on a Sunday at Citizens Bank Park. Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide, and by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Philadelphia Art Museum, Rocky on the steps there. That's a live shot here in downtown Philly. Okay, let's do some lineups here as the Marlins go after Alec Asher, and it's brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
D. Gordon leads it off, has a 9-game hitting streak he's working on right now. Derek Dietrich gets a start in left field. Martin Prado over third, batting third. Christian Yelich in the cleanup spot. Marcelo Zuna 5, Justin Bohr 6. Jeff Mathis getting the catching duties today in 7th position. Adeiny Echeverria batting 8th, and batting 9th, Andrew Cashner.
Here's a look at Alec Asher, Lakeland, Florida, as we noted. 24-year-old right-hander. Big guy, 6'4", 230 pounds. And one of the many Phillies that were acquired in the Cole Hamels trade with the Texas Rangers. And a Florida guy, Polk State College in Winter Haven, also attended Santa Fe Junior College. That was before he was drafted in the 4th round by the Rangers. Phillies have won the 2 games of this series, and their defense looks like this. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Roman Quinn is out in left field. So Odubel Herrera in center. Aaron Altair is in right. Miguel Franco and Tommy Joseph on the corners. Galvis and Hernandez up the middle. And Jorge Alfaro gets his first start of the series behind the plate. D. Gordon in the box, a 9-game hit streak for Gordon. He had a hit last night and 3 hits in game 1. He takes outside, and this ball game is underway. Derek Dietrich, Martin Prado. No Giancarlo Stanton in the lineup. Don Mattingly, watching him play on Friday, did not feel that he was close to 85 or 90% running. And Mattingly, on the side of caution, has Stanton on the bench in this day game here, with hopes of having him in tomorrow night in the starting lineup. Pop up, and that sends Franco and Galvis running for it, and Freddie Galvis, the slick fielding Venezuelan, makes the catch. And so Alec Asher's pitched really well in his 2 starts as his first out.
Yeah, you mentioned Rich Asher suspended this year, violating MLB's PED policy, reinstated September 6th this year, so just 2 starts in the big leagues.
Derek Dietrich now. Dietrich's got a 5-game hit streak, and he had a dramatic hit on Friday night. This has been certainly a frustrating stay in Philly. An agonizing loss for the Marlins on Friday night in 13 innings. They lost 4-3. Dietrich flips that one. It was 3-2 in the 8th, and the Marlins were running out of time, and Dietrich dropped the barrel on a low breaking ball, banged it off the facing of the second deck. That would tie the game at 3. The Phillies would win that game in the 13th. And of course, last night, just too much Jeremy Hellickson. Another pop-up. That's 3 pop-ups over in that spot. Alec Asher, what's the scouting report say? It's brought to you by Auto Nation.
How about TJ as a 14-year-old? James Andrews performed Tommy John surgery on him at 14 years old. 80 games, as we had mentioned. Suspended 80 games for PED violation. And from Coal Mine, acquired from Texas in the Cole Hamels trade.
Yeah, Tommy John surgery at 14. You see that right elbow with the scar on it. And the story there, his father, I mean, 14-year-old kid needs Tommy John surgery. They were going to have a local physician do it, and his father did some research to find out, well, who does this best? You got a 14-year-old kid who wants to play baseball, and he obviously saw James Andrews. He's the noted surgeon.
That's not a fresh
yes,
stitches there. That's a tattoo that goes over the scar, his Tommy John scar.
Dietrich shoots that one back into the seat. So his father and mother decided, look, let's have the best do it, but not a provider was James Andrews. So the family had to take a payment plan to pay for the surgery, and they just paid it off last year.
Wow.
changeup and a good one. As it turns out, that was a pretty good investment by the Asher family.
Yes, indeed. You can make it to the big leagues. That's pretty impressive. This is a good changeup by Asher here. Good arm speed on that. See the grip. Good movement down.
So just keep that in mind. Dr. James Andrews out of network.
Out of network and apparently has a payment plan.
Here's Prado. And a good running fastball from Asher. This is down low. His father also, you may recognize if you go to games in Lakeland with the Tigers spring training. His dad, Bob, is the PA voice. Prado gets jammed. Franco to first, and Alec Asher looks sharp in the first inning for the Phillies. Miami, the Phillies coming up for the first time here in the bottom of the first. And their lineup is brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Cesar Hernandez leading off. Roman Quinn batting second. Odubel Herrera batting third. Tommy Joseph in the cleanup spot. Miguel Franco, 22 home runs this season. First one since 20 or more since Scott Rowland. Freddie Galvis at shortstop. Jorge Alfaro. Aaron Altair. And batting ninth, Alec Asher.
Andrew Cashner set to go against the Phillies. And he fires a fastball for a strike. Dale Scott calling balls and strikes. Bob Davidson at first. Dan Iasonia at second. Lance Barrett at third. And Cashner, an ERA of over 5 and a record of 5-11. But this is a team that he's pitched well against in his career. 5 career starts against the Phillies. And a 2.16 ERA, a 3-1 record. Changeup fouled out of play.
He beat the Phillies on September 7th. Probably the best start of his Marlins tenure. 5 in the third innings. Gave up 4 hits and no earned runs. Struck out 9 that day. Best he had strikeout wise as a Marlin.
As agonizing as the loss was on Friday, last night a dominant performance by Jeremy Hellickson. And for the Marlins, the rest of the wild card race has not been cooperating, especially the Mets, who continue to win. And last night, Curtis Granderson tied the game in extra innings and then won it in extra innings with home runs. And a 3-2 win over the Twins. That one fouled back. The Giants and the Cardinals last night. The Cardinals ended up winning 3-2. And so the Mets and the Giants right now are tied atop the wild card with the Cardinals 2 back. And the Pirates have been hot. They have jumped over the Marlins with a doubleheader sweep yesterday. They're 74 and 74, and that's off the plate. Cashner walks Hernandez. Miami defensively, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Derek Dietrich has started left. Yelich still in center. Ozuna over in right. Bohr and Prado the corners. Gordon Echeverria the middle. And Jeff Mathis. It's the day game and the final game of this 3-game series. Here now is Roman Quinn, switch hitting outfielder. Young guy out of Port St. Joe, Florida. Let's see if the Phillies want to run. They do. Runner goes. Mathis throw on the bag, and out is Cesar Hernandez. Not sure if that was a pitch out. It essentially worked like a pitch out.
I don't think it was an intentional pitch out, but Jeff Mathis, look at the laser beam he throws down there. Outstanding footwork and absolutely perfect throw.
Good catch and tag by Echeverria.
Boy, Jeff Mathis, what a valuable asset to have as your backup catcher, someone that handles pitching staff so well and throws the ball so well. He's swinging a pretty good bat this year, too.
He's been hot of late in his starts. Cashner misses again, and it's 3-0 to Quinn. He walked Hernandez, did Cashner. Now he's missing out to this switch hitting outfielder. He misses in. Well, maybe the best defense is to let Roman Quinn try to steal and see if Mathis can throw him out too.
8 balls already in a total 11 pitches. Missing that outside corner. Jeff Mathis going to go out there and a little pep talk.
It's not been a great run for the Marlins with for Cashner. 8 starts for Miami. Juan Nieves looking on. And in the 8 starts, Cashner's ERA is over 6.
Last time out against Atlanta did not help that ERA at all. Just 2 innings pitched, 7 earned runs.
The amazing thing about that ball game is that the Marlins actually came back and tied that game, and he did not get a decision. That doesn't happen all that often. In 2 innings, you give up 7 runs, you get a no decision. Braves ended up winning that game 12-7.
Had a blister issue on the, seemed like it was on his inside of his right thumb. We saw blood on the pants as he was making that start. See him wiping it off. We don't know if that had that big of an effect or not, but.
Well, Double Herrera fouls one off, and quickly the count's 0-2. Herrera's got a couple of doubles in this series. The Phillies, along with Hellickson's gem last night, he shut out the Marlins on just 3 hits. The Phillies themselves banged out 8 runs on 11 hits. Had 3 doubles and a homer by Tommy Joseph. Herrera himself was 2 for 5 with a double. And he pokes that one foul. And Herrera is one of the Phillies that's hot right now. 10 for his last 20. Pete McCannon's got him back in the 3rd spot. He'd had him lower in the order. Smacks one into right field. Ozuna on a couple of hops. And so the inning is open with a walk, and a single. And were it not for the Mathis throw on the caught stealing, the bags would at the very least be loaded.
Well, it's just an elevated breaking ball that didn't do a whole lot. You see Jeff Mathis was set up down and in. Herrera's got that big leg kick. It's amazing he moves that much and is able to make contact as well as he does.
Now Joseph. See the 20 homers. Trevor Story still on top of the rookie class.
You see this leg kick of Herrera. His front foot starts almost at the line of the batter's box on the right-hand side. Tremendous amount of movement. That takes some serious timing to be able to time the pitcher's pitch.
To pull that off. There's a strike to Joseph. Joseph is, I think, one of the real pleasant surprises for the Phillies this year. They have to be thrilled. The guy they acquired from the Giants a few years back in the Hunter Pence trade, and he's a catcher by trade, and so on a couple of seasons he played very little because of concussion issues. The Phillies figured, why not get him out from behind the plate, put him out on in the field somewhere, and he's been getting a lot of time at first base. Ryan Howard's knee has acted up. Pete Mackanin was going to play Howard the rest of the way at first, but Joseph homered last night and is back in there today.
You look at the rookie leaders around National League. Joseph currently ranks third amongst rookies with 20 home runs. He's only got 290 at bats. It's kind of odd to see 20 home runs and just 40 RBIs.
Yeah, 3 of his homers have come in his last 11 ball games.
You look at those rookie departmental leaders. Trevor Story, as you mentioned, leads in home runs, but Corey Seager right behind him at 25. And I think he's going to run away with it. Boy, he is having some kind of year out in LA.
How many you give him MVP consideration as well?
For what they're doing, first place in the division, absolutely. At his position, shortstop.
Up the middle, and that's into center field. Joseph is going to give the Phillies a 1-0 lead.
Cashner's just having a tough time with his location right now. He cannot find the corners. Pretty much everything he's throwing is going to the middle of the plate.
Well, Cashner has yet to record an out. The out was recorded on the throw by Mathis, catching Hernandez, who walked to open the inning. And the inning since has gone walk, single, single. Joseph driving in his 41st run. And here is Franco. I think as the Phillies move forward and you project them to 2017, some of the guys in this lineup today rather, that you expect to see, Joseph, the way he's blossomed for Pete Mackanin. Odubel Herrera, center fielder. Franco, the third baseman here. And maybe a guy like Cesar Hernandez, who I think, and Freddie Galvis have both had. Hernandez had a really nice offensive year. Galvis is surprised by hitting 19 homers, and he plays Gold Glove caliber defense.
Very impressive defender out there at shortstop, and like you said, the bonus power numbers this year, 19 homers. Good young core for the Phillies.
And they have money to spend. New television deal. Ryan Howard comes somewhat off the books. He's got a buyout of, I believe, $9 to $10 million. $10
million.
So the Phillies are going to have money to spend. And if they can find a couple veteran bats or dangerous bats in the middle of that order, all of a sudden things could change here.
Saw that graphic that Cashner has allowed 23 first inning runs in his 25 starts. Always has had issues with the first inning, getting those outs first. And you see his pitch count up to 25 already. Got away with a couple breaking balls there that just don't have much bite to them today. They're up in the strike zone and kind of floating up there. It's a dangerous pitch against a guy like Franco.
And a dangerous park to float anything in.
Yes.
And he misses down low, and it's 3-2. Still just 1 out. And as you noted, the pitch count is closing in on 30. Three-two. Ozuna backs up, sets up, makes the catch. Tagging at second is Herrera. He moves to third. Joseph holds first. And here comes Freddie Galvis. Been some deep counts. 3 of the 5 at-bats have gone to 3-2. And now you've got Galvis, who has 1 for 8. Who would have thought that Freddie Galvis would hit 19 home runs in a season?
I don't think many people. He's just the 3rd shortstop in Phillies history with at least 20 doubles and 15 home runs in one season, and he's got a great chance of getting 20 home runs. Jimmy Rollins did that 6 times for the Phillies.
Well, how about the other guy? Surely you remember Granny Hamner.
Of course.
Granny Hamner, a Phillies shortstop, did it in 1952 and 1953.
We're talking about Galvis's defense. He leads all National League shortstops in starts and fielding percentage and innings. And we've seen him make some very athletic plays, spectacular plays at shortstop. He would not be surprised if he wasn't in the final 3 as far as the Gold Glove is concerned.
Yeah, he's had a great second half defensively. 51 consecutive without an error out at short. That is not easy. By the way, Granny Hamner was one of the key players on the Whiz Kids, that National League championship team from 1950.
They're called the Whiz Kids because they eat Cheese Whiz?
No.
Oh, they weren't?
Although when they ate a cheesesteak, they did do it with
the Cheese Whiz?
Yes. That went up the middle. Gordon can't get it. Into center field it goes. And Galvis makes it 2-0. And a long inning continues for Andrew Cashman.
Yeah, see defensively, D. Gordon way over expecting Galvis to pull the ball. Couldn't quite get to that with the dive up the middle.
Juan Nieves out for a visit. And for the Marlins, it's obviously not the start they had hoped for. Miami has gone now 15 innings without a run in this series. Shut out yesterday and had the drought in extra innings on Friday night. And Andrew Cashner is 33 pitches into this start. The Phillies have a 2-0 lead. Now here is Alfaro. A.J. Ellis got the start last night. And Ellis knocked in 3 with a double. Runner goes, and there's no throw. Enormous jump. And right now it looks like the Marlins wake-up call has not arrived. I mean,
Mathis didn't even consider throwing down, and that's because he got such a big jump. Alfaro collected his first Major League hit Monday night in his first Major League at-bat.
always a thrill. Counts 1-2 with 2 outs. Gordon has it on to first in time. But a rough start for Andrew Kashner, and it's 2-0 Phillies.
Defender.
A Craig and Jails! A Craig and Jails! A peanuts! A peanut!
Now, that is not something she just did for us. Emily Yukas is the pistachio girl, they call you here, right?
That's right, baby, pistachios. I'm the pistachio girl. That's right.
When did you come up with the singing gig to sell your pistachios?
Well, I've been doing this since 2010, and, you know, I gained a cult following throughout the years, and everybody loves the pistachio girl. Say, pistachios!
How about that?
Woo! Pistachios! Let me tell you guys, we're going to make the Phillies great again, baby. We're going to make the Phillies great again.
We're the Marlins broadcast, but I hope you do have a good season.
We're going to make the Phillies great again, baby. Woo!
How about one more Peanuts? Because I tell you, I was walking around yesterday, and after hearing her, I was walking around thinking of that peanut, just the Peanuts. Do the
That's
Peanuts.
right, baby. A peanut! A peanut! We're going to make the Phillies great again.
That's it. That's enough. Go sell some peanuts. Have you guys heard her on the crowd mic throughout the series? I don't know if
Absolutely.
you, well, there she is, Emily Yukas.
Absolutely.
I want some of whatever she's having.
Yeah, I'd say maybe she should make a run through the Marlins
man.
Marlins dugout right now and
fire somebody up.
get everybody fired up. Kristen Yelich at the plate, and Yelich takes a change.
Who knew peanuts were that exciting, Rich?
Yeah, I like it. You know what? I mean, vendors. There's vendors in every ballpark that are characters and that have reputations. In New York, we always have the guy that barks like a dog that comes by in front of the booth. That one eats Galvis alive, and it goes into center field, and Yelich is aboard. The Marlins have a base runner.
See what they give this. Very difficult play. Two hopper. Like you said, Galvis kind of stayed back on it and really took a bad hop. Waiting to see what they score that. Galvis, as you said, is 51 straight games without an error right now. They do give it an error.
So it's an E6.
That's a tough error.
See, look, she's just rolling in it right now. I like how the vendors also have numbers, right? She's 101.
Of course, now I'm going to be listening for that. I can hear her right now.
Yeah, you can hear her. I think she just sold some peanuts. Yelich away. Ozuna. Couple hits in the series. He smacks that one wide of third. Justin Bour to follow. Ozuna getting the start in right. Last night, Ozuna got the start in left field. Xavier Scruggs, or excuse me, Ichiro was in right. With Yelich in center. And Ozuna swings and misses at the breaking ball from Asher.
Justin Bour, we saw him at the onset of this road trip in Atlanta, swing the bat pretty well. Even his outs were loud and made good contact, but has struggled here in Philadelphia.
Bour 0 for 3 last night, and was 1 for 4 on Friday night. Yelich at first.
See Asher not lighting up the radar gun at all. 88 miles an hour on that fastball, but great location. The Marlins have had trouble with pitchers with his stuff this year. Guys who don't throw that hard, that have a good changeup. There's that good changeup right there.
And it's a called strike. You saw Bour look back. It counts 0-2, and that's why he looked back. It was just off the plate. Dale Scott. Probably not in a great mood. His beloved Oregon Ducks lost yesterday to Nebraska. Big Oregon Duck fan. Bour cracks one wide of Bob Davidson, who's patrolling the grounds at first. The count 0-2.
Yeah, it is a long shot that the Marlins will get into the postseason this year, but for players like Justin Bour, who had significant injury time, DL time, it's a nice last 2 weeks for him to get back on track to where he was before, because you look at his season, 15 home runs and 47 RBIs when he was hurt. And that translates. Could have had a 30 home run, 100 RBI season if he would have stayed healthy.
Bour smacks that into right field for a hit. And Miami has something going. It's bobbled by Altair. Yelich was just arriving at second. So it's first and second with an out as Mathis comes to the plate. And a reminder, if you put a deposit on a 2017 season ticket, you will guarantee access to the 2017 All-Star Game in Miami and all the other All-Star Game events in Marlins Park. 1877 Marlins. Go to marlins.com/season tickets. Mathis now. Big lead by Yelich at second. Last 15 starts, Mathis at .327.
.246 on the year. And Jeff Mathis, always defensive abilities have been well documented, and one of the main reasons he is on here on this team. But offensively this year, he's provided some pretty good punch for the Marlins.
Lifts it in the air. Drifting back is Joseph. Yelich tagging. And of course, Joseph, a former catcher, has got a good arm. And so with 2 outs, here comes Echeverria. All the East Coast Sunday games are rolling, except for one, the Yankees and the Red Sox, or the night game tonight. But the Mets have already put 3 on the board and have a 3-1 lead over the Twins in the bottom of the third. Mets looking for their 80th win of the season. Marlins looking for win number 74. The Nationals are in Atlanta, where the Braves have a 1-0 lead. Washington at 88 wins already. And of course, the Marlins and the Nationals tomorrow night. The news for the Marlins tomorrow night is that Wei-Yin Chen rejoins the rotation off the disabled list. A.J. Cole will start for the Nationals, but the Marlins will see Tanner Roark and Max Scherzer also in that series. Tuesday night, it's Jose versus Roark. Cole or Scherzer on Wednesday night.
Be nice to see Wei-Yin Chen back out there on the mound, get a couple starts in before this season closes out in a couple weeks.
Echeverria had a hanger and he fouls it back. It's 2-2.
You look at the disappointing offensive season that Etch has had this year. Last year, offensively, I thought he made a lot of really good strides. He noted his power and ability to hit to right center, which he has just not found that consistent swing this year.
Two.
Last year at this time, had 48 RBIs, almost the exact same number of at-bats. hitting .281 this year, .238 with just 35 RBIs.
Full count, 3-2. And so Yelich from second, Bohr from first. Miami trying to answer the Phillies, who got 2 in their half of the first inning. Fastball, fly ball, right field, Altair. And the Marlins are done in the second. Phillies have a 2-0 lead. Yes, she is. And even she knows that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Counts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. You never know who your vendor may turn out to be, Jeff Conine. It's a lesson I learned as a young baseball fan. The Oakland Coliseum, one of the regular vendors when I was growing up. He was a student at junior college in Oakland. Tom Hanks.
No kidding.
Yes.
Did you befriend him? And
no, but I can remember. I mean, look, oftentimes when I went to an A's game, there were 1,000 people there.
Yes,
so
there were.
You got to know the vendors and pretty well. So I can remember a guy that looked like him, and then 10, 15 years later, when I read that he was a vendor around that time, it all kind of made sense. Aaron Altair is up. And he lines it, look out.
That is the catch of the century right there.
Wow.
This is a screaming line drive, and the fan reaches up with one hand and snags this ball.
Thankfully.
Yes. Wow. Just like nothing. It's that easy.
Who needs a glove? Breaking ball. And Altair strikes out. And it brings up Alec Asher with Cesar Hernandez also coming up.
We've noted Cashner's struggles in the first inning. Looking like location's a bit better in this inning, and that was a nice sharp downward break on his slider.
Well, if you were with us at the end of that inning, you could hear Cashner as he went towards the dugout. And when he got to the dugout, he wasn't happy either. So he was very vocal, very demonstrative in the dugout. And the hope is that translates out to the mound here. And that, as you pointed out, he's got better command and is able to settle into this ball game and give Don Mattingly some innings. 2-1. Couple walks and 3 hits in a 2-run Philly first. Do they have speaking of vendors, it just occurred to me, and I do like the fact that the vendors have the numbers on their back. Do they have a vendor selling cheesesteaks?
Ooh. Yes, please.
That is outside corner. And Cashner's location better there. He has struck out the first 2 he's faced here in the second.
That's a good question, Rich. I don't know if they travel that well.
This is one of the great food ballparks in all of baseball, with Tony Luke's. Campos is out in center field. There's like a food court out in center. There's Tony Luke's. And so the official word is no. There are no cheesesteak vendors.
I think you should propose that idea. I think that would go over well.
Well, look, one of the great moments for Marlins television here in this ballpark was the night that the Fanatic was shooting. He had the hot dog gun, and he shot the pig, who was the mascot for the hot dog night. It was a big night. And I wondered out loud that why wouldn't the Fanatic, instead of shooting hot dogs, why wouldn't he shoot cheesesteaks? And I think the answer I got was because that the cheesesteak is so highly regarded and demands so much respect. You wouldn't shoot it out of a gun.
Right. But you have to have a higher caliber gun too, because cheesesteak's quite a bit bigger than a hot dog.
Well, then that literally would have killed the pig, because the hot dog merely wounded the pig, and he went on to either a bar mitzvah or a birthday party later in the day, or so we were told. 2-2, and that one is fouled out of play. There you go. Whoops. Get that.
Uh-oh.
Dad.
5-second rule.
Can you help me out, Dad?
There we go.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Three and 2 to Cesar Hernandez. And it's outside, and Hernandez walks.
That's a good pitch. Cashner's asking Dale Scott, is that out? And you'll see pitch number 7 on Fox Tracks has got the corner. At the edge of the plate. That's a good pitch.
So here's Quinn, and he walked back in the first. He takes a strike. Two in the first. And Quinn here with Hernandez with a good sized lead. He was thrown out trying to steal earlier. And it's 0-2. All right, but one word of advice, Niner. If you're out and about, don't eat the crab fries at Chicky and Pete's. Or don't sit next to Craig if he eats the crab fries at Chicky and Pete's.
Why? Are they loaded with garlic?
No, they're just trust me.
Okay.
They are. There's a really good kick in them. And that kick will stay with you for a day or two.
Enough said.
They're good, right, Craig?
I haven't had this trip, but Jessica was telling me that was true. Yes.
Yes, you're right. I think she had them last time she was here. And the same goes. It just don't sit next to the person that has those on the flight back home.
Gotcha.
Whether it's Jessica or Craig.
Gotcha.
Yes, right. That's our director, Christian Roberts, reminding us that there's plenty of ice cream here, especially in the press room. 1-2. Breaking ball lifted down the left field line, foul and out of play. Have you met Frank yet? So, I mean, I'm going through this because this is really your first time here as a member of the media.
Yes.
In the broadcast booth.
It is.
And Frank is the friendly ice cream guy.
Oh, you were telling me about Frank.
Yes.
And he's got the 6-8 flavors.
Yes. Yes. Craig visited with Frank a couple years ago. I actually tweeted his picture earlier this year. Andrew Kashner seems to have dialed it in, don't you think? 3 strikeouts in the second. And guess what? He's still going at it. Third inning here at the bank, Citizens Bank Park. Marlins and Nationals right at it tomorrow night. Bryce Harper and the first place Nats are in town. 7:10 starts. All you can eat seats for just $25. Go to marlins.com for more. Andrew Kashner, D. Gordon, and then Derek Dietrich on this Sunday afternoon in Philadelphia. One of the nice things I think about the National League is if a pitcher has a question about a pitch or is, has a feeling like something he's throwing is a strike and the umpire's not giving to him, they can always talk when he comes to the plate. And Kashner and Dale Scott just had a very nice conversation, civilized conversation, not confrontational.
There's a way to go about things. There's a way to go about talking to umpires if you feel that there was a missed call.
How about this? Kashner, he beats it. Every now and then you'll see a pitcher bunt because he doesn't feel like he can hit. But Kashner,
yeah, this is the second time he's bunted for a hit.
And he's good at this.
He really is.
And he's athletic. You see how fast he gets down the line. Watch this. You could see his eyes move just there.
He's got a good idea. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with that. And for a big guy, he moves really well.
That was great. On that first replay, you can literally see him steal a glance at the second baseman and then push it in that direction. Look at him go.
The key is obviously getting this by the pitcher, and he did just that. Nice work.
Yeah, well, leadoff runner aboard. Marlins are looking for their first run in over 16 innings in this series. Shutout last night. Gordon, Galvis spinning, got one there. Gordon safe there, and that is why Freddie Galvis is considered a Gold Glove candidate.
Wow, look at this place. This play, sorry. Line drive, backhand. And if it was anybody but D. Gordon running, that is a double play. Look at the feed. Spinning that opposite way, perfect feed.
Glove side. That's from the Perry Hill book of double play turning. Give the pivot man the feed glove side so they don't have to reach for it, and it's shorter from glove to hand. Somewhere there is like a Perry Hill Bible with all of his tips.
It's got a little thing called the 6 F's.
That's right. Can you name the 6 F's?
Oh, I know you're going to say that. I shouldn't have said anything.
Well, we can try. Feet.
Funnel. Footwork.
Footwork.
Follow.
Fire. Follow. Follows at the end.
Follow your throw.
Right. And forget about it.
Yeah, he's out. That's what it is.
I don't think that's one of the
No,
F's.
that's not.
No.
Perry Hill has done wonders for a lot of infielders. They'll say he's probably one of their favorite coaches they've ever had. He's got a little system that works.
I think footwork or feet appears twice.
Feet, footwork, because the footwork.
Set your feet for the throw to fire and then follow.
Fire, follow?
Fire, follow. Fire is throw.
Oh. Funnel.
Yes.
It's a big one with him.
That's after you field.
Exactly. We'll have a quiz on that in the 5th inning.
Uh-oh, Gordon's picked. He gets by Joseph, the throw, he's out. Well, that was an adventurous out. First of all, Gordon got picked, then he avoided the Joseph tag. He was not called out of the baseline, which is a rarity. Let's take a look. He didn't get that far out, but he's out there. It's good heads up by Asher.
Very good heads up by Asher covering first base. Tell you what, he made a pretty good play himself, catching that ball on the run and being able to apply the tag.
And so Asher back into this at bat with Dietrich with a 1-0 count. Busted bat and a roller up the line, and Dietrich's going to get a hit. I think if you're going to roll the ball up the third base line, it's always good to have that misdirection play with half the bat going down the first base line.
He gets so far out in front of this ball that it hits the cup on the end of the bat and just shears it right off. Perfectly placed.
And so Asher, who hasn't seen a ball out of the infield yet, has given up a couple hits here, has Martin Prado.
D. Gordon was trying to extend his stolen base streak. Stolen bases in 3 straight games, having 6 stolen bases over the last 3 games. Unfortunately got a little too jumpy.
And that does go as a caught stealing. When you are picked off leaning or heading towards a base, it is a caught stealing. If you're headed back and you're out, it is not a caught stealing. And Martin Prado in a little bit of disbelief, not happy. First pitch you could see was on the grid, so to speak. Last night we were off the grid, weren't we?
We were off the grid last night.
Dietrich at first. And strike 3. And Prado's not happy. Throws the bat, throws the helmet, and he is tossed. Prado's thrown out of the game, and he and Dale Scott are going to go nose to nose. Mattingly arrives. That's where the pitch was, whether it was a swing or not. But pitch number 2 was out. Pitch number 3 was strike 3. And again, I don't know if he called it on the swing. Let's take a look.
I was thinking it might be on the swing. He definitely went around.
Yeah, it's on the swing. And Prado obviously upset about pitch number 2. And we'll take a timeout. Prado being debriefed by the third base umpire, Lance Barrett. 2-0 Phillies.
Usually they point at the hitter,
Yes, they
saying,
do.
yes, you went around, but he just did his regular strike call.
You're right. And you saw it on Fox Tracks. It was the same spot as pitch number 2, which was out. Mattingly's discussion was that Prado's transgression of the bat and the helmet while headed towards the dugout should not have been enough for ejection.
I think there might be some words mixed in with those helmet toss and bat toss that might have spurred on. Usually with the umpires, if you direct it at them.
All right, here's what the Marlins are going to do defensively as Herrera takes in. Ichiro ends up in left. Derek Dietrich is now at third. So Ichiro comes into Prado's spot. And it's still 2-0 Phillies. Odubel Herrera against Andrew Cashner. And Herrera's not real pleased with that pitch. And that's the reason why.
Wow.
Odubel Herrera to right and gone. His 14th, and the Phillies stretch their lead to 3-0.
Talked about his location getting better last inning, but this ball's right down the middle. Nice little show bat flip there.
Here's Joseph. So the Phillies now with 3 runs, 4 hits. Cashner has walked 3. And he has struck out 3. And the hits just keep coming for the Phils. Second for Joseph. Franco. Franco flied to right. If the Phillies continue at this pace, you would expect Miami's bullpen to be up before this one gets away. Although last night it escalated rather quickly, with the Phillies scoring 5 times in that first inning off of Jose Urena, and then added 2 before Urena was lifted. Busted bat to left. Ichiro is there and he makes the catch. Let's do some T-Mobiling, shall we? Jacob deGrom is done for the year. Scratched from the start against the Twins. He'll have ulnar nerve surgery, and the Mets hope that he's back for spring training next year. Albert Pujols. If it's not Big Papi, it's Albert Pujols every day. 590th home run. And did you see the highlights with John Gray? 16 strikeouts at Coors Field. He was dominant.
That's a tough ballpark to be dominant in as a pitcher.
And he had the infamous 4 strikeout inning. Freddie Galvis RBI single back in the first. Joseph the runner at first. And that one wide of the bag. Mets right now a 3-1 lead over the Twins. That's bottom 4 in New York. No, Granderson hasn't homered again. He's not in the lineup, so. TJ Rivera's homered. Gordon out, Ozuna in. And Ozuna makes the catch. And that's it for Freddie Galvis in the third. And here comes Alfaro. Pirates are losing to the Reds, significant because the Pirates have jumped the Marlins in the wild card standings. Pittsburgh with a doubleheader sweep yesterday in Cincinnati, but 5-2 Reds top 5 over the Pirates. And Pittsburgh has won 4 straight.
Well, the Mets are just getting it done by pitching, aren't they? Their offense is just, they're living and dying by the home runs. Second in the National League in home runs, total home runs, but second to last in runs scored.
And they're getting starts from guys that, you know, in replacing a deGrom. And some of the starters that have had injury issues have been in and out of the rotation. Obviously, Harvey's out as well. Cracked on the ground. Echeverria backhands And he goes the short way on a nice jump throw to Gordon to finish the inning. A Herrera homer makes it 3-0. Fanatic to the Nationals. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine together again. It's the reunion tour of Marlins Live, and it's brought to you by South Florida Honda dealers. They'll be singing some of their greatest hits tomorrow night, including Wei-Yin Chen returns.
How about that?
All right, the Marlins trying to get on the board here. Christian Yelich, Marcelo Zuna, and then Justin Bour. Martin Prado out of the game. He's been ejected. Ichiro is now in the 3 spot. Yelich reached on an error, hit a bullet up the middle that went right through Galvis.
Yeah, I would venture a guess that that might be looked at again, that play. Sometimes you can make a request to the official scorer and say, would you mind taking a look at that play again on replay? And when you've got a guy that's got a 51 game errorless streak, as Galvis does right now, it didn't affect his scoring for a pitcher. It might change it.
Yelich to center, and of course now you can also just call the league, and the league will review it for you and give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I always thought that would be a good half-hour show on MLB Network. It would be like Major League Baseball Night Court, where, you know, hey, in Pittsburgh, Andrew McCutchen wants a hit, and you have, you know, live, you get 60 seconds to plead your case.
They have like a panel of judges to.
Right, but then you also get to hear from the pitcher. Heck no, that wasn't a hit. My ERA was affected. So you hear from both sides. But from what you're saying, I think that would be a slam dunk, because Galvis has a 51 game errorless streak going. Yelich wants the hit, so I think both sides would be arguing.
Exactly.
For the same thing.
For the same thing. I think it's a
but that
no-brainer.
That doesn't make it right, though, Jeff.
Why not? I think it was a hit. Because I'm a hitter.
That's right.
I want the hit.
You have the your card-carrying member of the Hitters Guild.
I haven't heard that in a long time, Rich.
That's right. Strike 3 call. Now Ozuna's not happy. He's still at home plate. Look at where that pitch is. And that's in the same neighborhood of the 2 that were called on Prado.
That breaking ball, it's way off the plate. Seems like Dale Scott's having a little trouble picking up that down and away.
And you can see Scott right now trying to tell the Marlins dugout to cool it. Don Mattingly is the closest Marlin, but I'm sure he's not the only one who is vocal right now. Here's a Bohr.
Those dugouts act as sound echoes very well. So when you're in the dugout and you're not happy with something and you start yelling out on the field, it carries very well.
You could see none of the pitches were strikes here, and the count's 2-1. Pitch number 2 was called a strike. But to be honest, the Marlins have bigger issues than the umpire. They have not scored a run in the last 17 2/3 innings of this series. So while Dale Scott in helping them, Eddie, they're going to have to help themselves at some point. Bohr on an odd swing, and Hernandez flip is in time to get him. And a 1-2-3-4.
In the country where all 4 major sports teams are located in the same. Welcome back to Citizens Bank Park, home of the Phillies, here on a Sunday afternoon. And for a sports fan, this is the ultimate. It's the only place in the country where all 4 major sports teams are located in the same area. The Philadelphia Sports Complex, the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. This is Lincoln Financial Field. They call it the Link, the home of the Philadelphia Eagles. And right across the street, you can get your NBA and NHL games here. The Flyers and the Sixers play at the Wells Fargo Center. It was the Flyers to be the first team to come to this area in 1967 on this grounds, and then the Sixers joined them later in '71. Veterans Stadium was built. That the home then of the Phillies and the Eagles.
And we saw the art museum. Remember the Spectrum that used to house the Sixers and the Flyers? That's where the Rocky statue used to be. They moved it up to the steps of the art museum.
Saw U2 at the
Spectrum.
Yeah.
It's always fascinating when a city builds an arena or a stadium next to an older one, how much bigger it is.
Yes.
I mean, when they put up the Wells Fargo Center and it was next to the Spectrum, it made the Spectrum look like a high school gym. It's like when they put the new football stadium down in Houston next to the Astrodome, which used to look gigantic.
Yeah.
The Astrodome looks small compared to the Texans stadium. Just gets bigger and bigger.
Amazing. It's like Miami Arena, downtown Miami.
That's a good point.
Miami Arena, and now the new AAA. I mean, it's not even close.
My producer John Solser reminds me that when we were down in Houston a few years ago, we were told that you could take the Astrodome and actually put it inside Alliance Stadium.
Wow.
Home of the Texans. Aaron Altair, and then Alec Asher and Cesar Hernandez in the fourth against Andrew Kashner. That is strike 3 called. And Kashner may have gotten a break on that one.
Look at number 6. There wasn't one strike
Wow.
thrown in that at bat.
I think the Phillies didn't put up much of a fight because they've seen what's happened on the other side. That one rolled out to Echeverria, and Kashner has a chance here at a really quick inning. If he can get Cesar Hernandez, which he could use. You can see the pitch count at 83. And here is Hernandez, who's walked twice. Braves continue to lead the Nationals 3-0. Nationals and Marlins tomorrow night. Congratulations to Miguel Cabrera, who got to 2,500 hits with a base hit today. 100th player to get there, and just the 8th to do it by his age 33 season. Aaron, Cobb, Fox, Hornsby, Melott, A-Rod, and Rockin' Robin Yount.
Some decent names on that list. Just saying. Miggy, obviously a former teammate and probably one of the best right-handed hitters I've ever seen.
The 2 best right-handed hitters I've seen, and I'm not talking about people you've seen on black and white video or guys from the 60s or even early 70s before you knew what you were watching.
I'm going to venture to guess somebody that you got to watch every day in Seattle.
Edgar Martinez and Miguel Cabrera. Count full 3-2. Who else? What other right-handed hitter would you put in Miggy's class that you've seen?
Albert Pujols for me was remarkable. I mean, he did everything. Average, power.
He's still doing it, but not at the
not the level that he once was. I mean, when he had a run of 10 years where I think you could probably put his numbers with anybody in the history of baseball.
That ball's hit hard, cracked to right. Ozuna makes the catch, and Kashner has his first 1-2-3 inning. Brought to you by Ram. Get power you can depend on at Ram Power Days. By Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal. And by USAA Insurance Banking Investments tailored for the military community. There you go. Lather it up, chop it up, throw it on, throw it in. And Jeff Conine's lunch is just about ready.
I'm so in. That's my favorite, Jim's. Oh.
Jeff Mathis fouls one back. I don't know that Jim's has a stand at the ballpark.
I don't think so.
So if you had to choose, all right, if Jim's is not an option, where do you go next?
You know what? Right here in the visitors clubhouse for the Phillies, they make some excellent cheesesteaks right down there.
Good bunt by Mathis that just trickles foul. Of course, in baseball lore, there's great stories about which visiting player has eaten the most cheesesteaks in the course of a series, and I believe it's the bullpen coach for the Brewers that holds that distinction. And I want to say it's either the 19 or 20 or low 20s. But our research department is on it right now. Miami trying to get a base runner. Alec Asher, a 3-hit shutout right now. And that pop-up will find the seats. And that's exactly what happened to the Marlins last night, only it was 9 innings of Jeremy Hellickson. Austin Bryce in Miami's pen. You've got Cashner due up third this inning.
See Jeff Francoeur waiting, lurking in the wings there.
And Mathis gets hit.
You know, Asher and Hellickson are very similar type pitchers, and those type of pitchers that we mentioned that really give the Marlins fits. Nothing big on the fastball, 88 to 90, 91. Good changeup. It just seems like the skill set that have given the Marlins the most trouble this year.
All right, unofficially, Niner, the Brewers bullpen catcher ate 23 cheesesteaks.
Wow.
And I believe it was a 3-game stay. And it was last year.
So just shy of 8 a day.
Yes, yes. And as a team, the Mets reportedly ate 103 in one day.
I hope they tip the guy well.
Well, I hope so. Mathis at first, and Chavarria. And he shoots one into right field. That's a hit. And so that's going to get the Marlins first and second. And here comes Jeff Francoeur to pinch hit for Cashner. Pitchapenny arrives with Francoeur at the plate. So Mathis hit, Echeverria gets a hit. And that means Cashner's day is done after just 4 innings. And Bob McClure is on his way out to the mound. There's the line on Cashner, 3 earned in 4.
2 of those walks came in the first inning. And after Jeff Mathis had thrown out one of the base runners that had walked, Phillies still ended up scoring 2 runs. See Bryce warming up down there in the Marlins bullpen.
Well, you noted that the Asher stuff is similar to Hellickson's in terms of velocity and approach. Pete McCannon has said that Asher is a candidate, a guy that they will really give an opportunity to and look hard at for a rotation spot next year.
He's definitely getting a spotlight here in the month of September. As we mentioned, the first 2 starts he's had for the Phils were excellent.
Francoeur takes, and it's 2-0. And you can see where they are pitching Francoeur, trying to get him to chase the man known as Frenchie. And that fastball is down and in. So Francoeur, normally a free swinger and a guy who loves going after first pitch or early fastballs. With a 3-0 count here. First strike of the at bat.
Francoeur, a member of these Phillies just this past season, 2015.
Francoeur started towards first.
See number 5 there on Fox Tracks as a strike.
So from his first 3-0 count, Asher is back into the at bat at 3-2. Be interested to see if he throws him another fastball. Yeah, he got the fastball at 92.
Well, I think Frenchie wants that one back. You saw a target down and in, but this fastball goes right over the middle of the plate. Has a good hack at it, but could not square it up.
That fastball was really in on him. Look at how far that pitch was in, and I mean, if he doesn't foul it off, it may hit him.
So we know Francoeur is definitely sitting on a fastball here. I wonder if they'll go down and away after coming so far in and inducing a swing.
In the air and out of reach. And they count 3-2. So the sequence here, breaking ball's first 2 pitches, and he missed with them both. And after that, it's been all fastballs.
Francoeur, a good fastball hitter. Trying to dial it in here, 3-2. See if he goes with the breaking ball. Something a little different look.
Fastball, Francoeur to left. Quinn over towards the line, and he makes the catch. You could hear that kind of off the end of the bat.
Yep. Francoeur geared up. Makes that dead sound. Usually off the end of the bat. He knew right away.
D. Gordon fouls it back. Gordon has popped out and bounced into a fielder's choice. If you've just arrived in this ball game, Alec Asher making just his 3rd start. His first 2 have been outstanding. Asher missed 80 games, violated Major League Baseball's performance-enhancing drug policy, just like D. Gordon, who's at the plate right now. Gordon lifts it into left field. That's a base hit. Around third, here comes Mathis. Echeverria digging for third, and D. Gordon with a single to left. And so Miami is on the board, and that snaps a skid of over 18 scoreless innings in this series.
D. Gordon been swinging the bat extremely well. This extends his hitting streak to 10 games. And is tied for that is his new season high. Love to see him go the other way.
Here now is Dietrich. And Dietrich fouls it back. Asher, when he's come back from his suspension, didn't have a lot of time. Remember, you can't pitch in organized games until the last 10 days. But once he's jumped in the rotation, he's pitched well. And this in a game where Andrew Kashner has been lifted after 4 innings. And of course, you got Gordon with great speed over at first, and 1 out. Dietrich 1 for 2. Dietrich's got a hit streak now at 6 games. Gordon is running, and Dietrich lines it into right field. That's a hit. Echeverria scores, but Gordon slides into second. Not sure why D would slide into second unless he thought the ball was hit up the middle. We'll see if he got decoyed by maybe Hernandez or Galvis.
Now, Rich, just a straight steal. When D. Gordon steals, he does not peek in to see what the hitter's doing in the strike zone. He just puts his head down and runs. And
here's a look. Let's see. Nope, no deke either. So Dietrich has given the Marlins their 2nd run, and that's going to be it for Asher. This is a Kendall Toyota call to the bullpen, and both starters are out of the game already. It's 3-2 Phillies in the top of the 5th. Marlins have a couple of runs and trail 3-2. Alec Asher in the dugout. Cold hard fact from Coors Light. Phillies starting pitchers 3 earned runs or less in 15 straight starts. That's the longest since July of 2000. That's a long time. But that's in doubt here because you've got 2 runners on, and those guys are Alec Asher's responsibility. Joely Rodriguez.
During this current string by the Phillies starting pitchers, as you mentioned, 3 earned runs or fewer in 15 consecutive starts. They've combined to post a 1.91 ERA over that span, best in all of baseball.
Well, here's Ichiro. You got Yelich behind him. First at bat for Ichiro. Martin Prado was ejected after a contentious strikeout in the 3rd. Dale Scott, the home plate umpire, is the one who tossed him, and Ichiro came into a Prado spot, went to left, and pushed Dietrich into 3rd base.
It's not very nice. Pushed him into 3rd base.
Figuratively pushed Dietrich into 3rd base. Splits for Ichiro this year.
327 versus lefties. When you look at his career averages, he's also higher against lefties than he is right-handed pitchers. 328 career lefty. Not many left-handed batters have a higher average against left-handed starters or left-handed pitchers.
I'll put it to you. What is it about his swing, which is so unique and so different and odd at times? What is it about that swing that makes him a better hitter against lefties?
That's a good question. I think because of the way he almost runs out of the box before he makes contact. Because as you know, when you covered him back in the day, if he hit a slower roller to the left side of the field, he'd beat it out. And I think with the sweeping breaking balls of the lefty and the tendency to throw more away, he would hit that ball to the right side or the left side and beat it out.
It counts 3-1. Gordon has been getting a healthy lead at 2nd. Dietrich is the trail runner at 1st. And Rodriguez comes back to run the count full.
Saw Rodriguez come in the first game of this series and good power arm from the left hand side. Hit 98 miles an hour the other night.
Ichiro guides it out towards short. Galvis flip. Hernandez turn. Got him. And that's a double play, and the Marlins will have to settle for 2 in the 5th, halfway through in Philly. It's 3-2. Ram is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. William Penn high above Philadelphia. 3-2 Phillies on top, bottom five. Let's check in with Craig Minervini.
Rich, thank you very much. Roman Quinn will lead off for the Phillies this inning, and there are guys you watch as you work your way up. You say, boy, I like to play like that guy. And for Roman Quinn, D. Gordon is one of those guys. D went over and introduced himself during this series, and Roman told us that he was honored to meet D. Gordon. He's a speedster. He's 23. He's hit over 300 the last couple of years in the minors. He's not a big guy like D. Gordon. He does have a rifle from the outfield. He also can play shortstop. But D told him, anything you need, I'll be more than glad to help you out. Don't feel bad to come over and say hello, except when we play you. I'm not going to give you tips on beating the Marlins, but certainly to talk about whatever you want to talk about and getting better as a baseball player, I'll be there for you. Roman really appreciated that, and we'll see. He's a fast guy, type of guy who puts the ball on the ground. He could beat it out, and he's also from Florida, from Port St. Joe, up near the Panhandle.
Yes, you're right, Craig. It's a couple of Florida guys then with D and Roman Quinn, who is no longer facing Andrew Kashner. Austin Bryce. As you can hear in the background up here, they are announcing all the pitching lines for the two departed starters. Kashner gone. That's a liner. Bryce has it. The business end of the bat ends up way past first base, down on the warning track.
Wow. Good distance.
So the first out here in the bottom of the fifth. Odubel Herrera, a tough out in this ball game, and as we noted, he's heating up. He's 12 for his last 22. Singled and scored in the first, homered to lead off the third.
Well, I tell you what, you see Herrera making the reference with his hand how much that Bryce's ball moves. It's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that really had some good movement on it.
It's deep, but foul.
That was more of a cut fastball. Bryce opened the season for Double-A Jacksonville as a starter. Had 13 starts at the beginning of the year. Went 3-6 with a 3 ERA. And made 14 relief appearances for Double-A Jacksonville after that.
And his ERA went down as he went into the bullpen. Justin Bour gets there, and Bryce has the first two outs. Here in the fifth, and Tommy Joseph coming up. Nationals, a 3-game set. Then the Braves are in, then the Mets are in. So that's the last homestand for the Marlins. Mets continue to beat the Twins 3-1. Giants and Cardinals this afternoon. Bryce has that arm slot similar to former Marlin Ryan Webb.
Yeah, I remember Ryan Webb fastball had excellent movement as well, but didn't have the velocity that Bryce does. 96, 97 miles an hour with good movement. A lot to like about that arm. Good breaking ball.
Good breaking ball. And a 1-2-3 inning for Austin Bryce here in the fifth. On to the sixth. In Philly, Marlins down a run, 3-2. but he was small once. And I think that's what you're getting a look at. That's a future fanatic. Well done. Had all the right moves as well.
The all-time favorite of mine, anyway. I'm sure a lot of other people's as well. Philly fanatic is just the best.
And look, maybe I didn't see the footage, but I'm just thrilled that he's never wiped out on that Fanatic mobile, because he gets going around the field. I've seen stuff like that go sideways in baseball, and it's not good.
Remember the famous what was the skating thing at the old Kingdom?
The Moose.
The Moose.
The Moose used to.
He got waffled a couple times,
well,
didn't he?
and he broke his ankle.
Yeah.
He used to water ski behind an ATV. Yelich lines one foul, and the count's 0-2. Yes, that happened in the Kingdom, and he got going a little too fast, hit the wall, fractured his ankle. And the worst part was when he got up, and you could tell he was hurt. He still had a smile, and had to limp off. 0-2. Yelich takes in. Then there was Mr. Red in Cincinnati riding on the back of an ATV. Got going a little too fast, fell off, hit the deck, and his head popped off.
Like literally?
Literally, his head popped off. Yelich swings and misses. That now lives on the 10-run reel, by the way. Oh, the music is back.
Itchy the Killer.
That's right. I don't even want to read over that music. It's so good. You can get one of 3,000 limited edition full-size Mizuno Ichiro bats. That's coming up on Sunday, September 25th at 1 o'clock. Now you have to buy a special event ticket, so go to marlins.com/Ichiro. As well, if you're interested in the bat, you can have it shipped to you. So if you buy a game ticket online, there's a choice of whether you want the bat in person or whether you want it shipped to you. Ozuna lifts it to right, and it's caught there by Aaron Alter. So there's Ichiro's bat, the real one, but Mizuno has made 3,000, especially to commemorate the 3,000th hit. And so marlins.com/Ichiro. And like I said, and we get emails and tweets all the time from people who are watching from all over across the country that obviously couldn't attend a game at Marlins Park. But if you want the bat, you can buy a ticket online, and the bat will be shipped to you.
And it's his bat, just like that model.
Yes.
It's a full-size bat. It's not a souvenir bat.
Right. Justin Bour, that one off the end of the bat as well. And Joely Rodriguez with a very brief inning, and a tip of the cap from him. This reminder that Geico is always proud to be part of the show. And then in 1995, Gary Sheffield went 3 for 3, popped 2 homers, and drove in 7. But the Marlins were a field goal shy of the Phillies. 13-10 was the final. Dustin McGowan. And he'll take over for Austin Bryce. This was a short start from Andrew Kashner. 4 innings, and he gave up 3 runs. Bryce looked terrific in his inning. He went 1, 2, 3.
Marlins are giving some bullpen arms some opportunities here the last couple weeks of September. See what they've got coming out for next year. Bryce, as you said, has been throwing the ball extremely well, as has McGowan. Holding righties to a 147 average.
His name is count 2-0. Phillies got their 3 early. 2 in the first, and then Odubel Herrera homered in the 3rd. Franco lifts a pop-up. Dietrich approaches and makes the catch. All right, Jeff Conine, pay attention to this. Fox Sports is proud to team up with Positive Coaching Alliance, and its mission is to develop better athletes and better people by working to provide all youth and high school athletes a positive character-building sports experience. Visit foxsportsupports.com to learn more. We've met Pistachio Girl. We've seen the Fanatic. Freddie Galvis, right center field. That's deep, and that's gone.
Home run of the year for Freddie Galvis. Location is pretty good on this fastball, down and away. Boy, he just goes down and gets it. Impressive hitting. He's hit the Marlins real well. Impressive fielding. Phillies have to be very excited about having him at their shortstop position for a long time to come.
And for a guy like Galvis to get to 20 home runs, a nice milestone for him. Here's Alfaro, and he takes outside corner. 98 miles an hour on the fastball. 2 solo homers, Odubel Herrera, Freddie Galvis. And the Phillies lead is back to 2. Yikes. That bat not only went in the seats, but it went in the seats at a rapid pace. I mean, that flew in there quickly.
Well, that was nice. Ended up in the hands of a couple people away from the person that actually hit, and they gave it back to him. Hit him right in the arm. See him holding his arm there? He's all right. Good to see. Obviously, a chunk of wood flying in the stands that quickly is a hazard.
One ball and 2 strikes. Michael Marriott in the Phillies pen. And a swing and a miss. McGowan strikes out Jorge Alfaro. Series with the Nationals stretches from Monday to Wednesday, and on Wednesday it's a Chevron Crazy 8-day. Fill up your car with Chevron with Techron gasoline. Bring your receipt to the Marlins Park ticket office. Choose between 2 Lexus Legends level tickets or 1 home plate box ticket at just $28. Here is Altair. Count 0-1. Ozuna is there and makes the catch, but another solo home run. Freddie Galvis. And it's 4-2 Phillies. Phillies. Now those, Jeff, are the crab fries, the Chicky and Pete crab fries.
And I will not be sitting next to you after you eat some. Is that what?
Yeah, it's, well, I mean,
that's what I got out of that.
It's the Old Bay seasoning that gives it the kick. I mean, and a lot of it.
Familiar with that? Playing in Baltimore, Old Bay seasoning on the crab.
That's true. I like the shirt he had. Chicky and Pete's, all part of the experience here in Philly. And right now the experience in Philly for the Marlins is not good. Michael Marriott is on for the Phils. 4-2. The Phillies on top. Miami trying to avoid getting swept here in what, when they arrived on Friday, was an enormous series. An extra inning loss on Friday night, shut out by Jeremy Hellickson last night. And Marriott faces Jeff Mathis, Adeiny Echeverria. Oh, excuse me. JT Real Muto is going to hop in under cover of darkness. He arrived in the batter's box, so Real Muto will hit and takes a breaking ball for a strike. So Mathis gets this start. Jeff had popped out, was hit by a pitch. And Real Muto cranks one foul.
We saw Marriott come in to the game on Friday night against the Fish. Had a couple of strikeouts. 8 of his last 9 appearances have been scoreless.
Well, the Phillies bullpen never really budged last night. Hellickson went all 9, a 3-hit shutout, 106 pitches. And Realmuto swings and misses. And as rare as it is to find a complete game, obviously rare for a complete game shutout, even more rare is the fact that the Phillies used just 9 players last night. In this day and age, especially in September, where some teams are using 20 guys.
Yeah.
And sometimes 25 guys. I mean, and we've seen that over the last week. Last night it was just 9. Xavier Scruggs is on deck. Echeverria swings and misses. Etch has a base hit. He's flied to right. The pitch had plenty of the plate and was just at or above the knees. I think Philly fans certainly knew what to expect this season. They knew that the Phillies had kept those great teams together as long as they could, and the price that they paid was having to retool, rebuild, reload, however you want to say it, over the last couple of years, this year especially.
Remember, at the beginning of the year, the Phillies were like the surprise of the National League East.
They were over 500 for a while. And even though they're not now, I think they still have had a better year than many thought they would. 67 and 82. They're not going to lose 100 games. If they keep playing like this, they're not going to lose 90 games. Pete Rose, ladies and gentlemen, he can't go to Cincinnati, but oh, that's not Pete.
Yes.
That's pretty nice, pretty sweet. The all red Phillies jersey is not one you see very often. That had to be back in the experimental 70s, right?
Yeah.
Back when everybody had odd uniforms at times. Echeverria works a walk and didn't go, and so he's aboard. Here's another look at the play.
Nice catch. Look at Dad.
Way to go, Dad.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Now give me your ice cream.
Well, it was going to be Scruggs, but with a runner on, Don Mattingly has decided to pull the Giancarlo Stanton trigger.
As you mentioned in pregame, Rich, Don Mattingly wasn't 100% convinced that Giancarlo was ready to be out in the field. Didn't like what he saw as far as movement around the bases. So they're going to give him a little bit more time before he puts him back in the starting lineup. But obviously available to pinch hit, and in a situation like this, you never know when you can pop out a home run out of here and get the Marlins back in the game.
Mattingly had a sliding scale. He said he thought Stanton would be 90% to run, but he said he looked more 60 to 70% on Friday night. And Marriott got a strike with a slider, misses out there, and it's a ball and a strike.
Our producer John Sulzer just whispered that 1979 was the all red Phillies jerseys.
Thank you. That was a time of experimentation. not quite the 60s, but with uniforms, experimental stuff. 79 was the year that in the East, the Pirates were wearing the We Are Family, all their different combinations, the stovetop,
the black with
hats,
the yellow stripes around it. Padres, they had the brown and yellow at that time.
Yes. Stanton pulls it down the third base line. Oakland, of course, were the pioneers early in that decade, with Charlie Finley going with all the different green and golds combinations, including the high stirrups
and white shoes.
White shoes to go with yellow sanitary socks. In the dirt, Echeverria reads it and is out. Back foot. Echeverria says, look at the video. And we'll see if he's out or not, if the glove clipped him before he got there. Let's see which foot he uses. Oh. I don't know. That's a tough call for an umpire for sure, because you got legs going in different directions. And the Marlins are going to challenge this. And why not?
Good aggressive base running by Etch. See this different look, though. You see that back leg swinging around. I can't tell right there where that glove makes contact with his leg.
Well, you could tell on that one that he didn't touch him on the first swipe.
Oof.
This is going to be tough. And you know what's in the balance here? The glove is just getting to the leg as you see the base react to the foot. It looks like it's simultaneous or right at the same time.
Oh, that angle, he looks like the foot hit before the glove.
That angle,
I think he's safe.
He's safe.
Yep.
From that angle, it looks like he's safe, because you can see the pant leg react to the glove there, and the foot has already been on the bag for a few frames, shall we say. But you never know. It's got to be 100% to overturn the out call. That's the wild card in this. Stanton is at the plate. The count is 3-2. And so you'd love to have Giancarlo get a chance to drive in a run here.
Clear and concise evidence.
It's Dan Iasonia, who is the crew chief, along with Dale Scott. He's safe. So the Marlins, a successful challenge. Pat Shine down in the replay room with the magical fingers of Dan Budrika as well, the Marlins video coordinator. Dan is the guy that knows the ins and outs and does all the great work with the scouting video, but also assists in that little replay command center. And Stanton strikes out on a slider. So through all that, the Phillies do get an out. Gordon comes up with Echeverria still at second. And Pete Mackanin comes out, and he's going to make a change. You've got the lefty Dietrich, who is due up. Phillies are going to go to their bullpen. They're going to bring a right-hander in. Kendall Toyota call to the bullpen. You watch Marlins games if you're on the go on DirecTV and AT&T. Just download the all-new Fox Sports Go app and take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you may go. Whether you go into right field as a part of a double switch like Peter Borges, or if you venture to the pitching mound like Hector Neris. So Borges is going to go in the 9 spot. And Neris and the pitcher ends up in the number 8 spot. T. Gordon swings and misses. Counts 0-1. Gordon RBI single in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. Dietrich is on deck. And Neris promptly comes out and gets out on top 0-2.
Yeah, a couple of good changeups by Neris to start off D. Gordon. With that last single, extended his hitting streak to 10 games. He also has a, see what he's done during that 10-game hitting streak, 8 of 9 stolen bases. He's got a 3-game stolen base streak where he's swiped 6 stolen bases in the last 3 games.
Well, that was just changeup, changeup, changeup. And the Marlins leave a runner in scoring position. 4-2 Phillies. Today marks the Air Force 69th birthday. USAA honors those that have served in the Air Force and all of our service members around the world. Thank you for all that you do. Phillies are on top. Tommy Joseph, who had a big night last night with a home run, opened the scoring with an RBI single. It was a struggle in the first for Andrew Kashner. He walked a couple, gave up 3 hits, and the 2 runs. Phillies would stretch it to 3-0. Odubel Herrera leads off the 3rd with his 14th homer. But the Marlins would get on the board and come back to put 2 in the 5th. D. Gordon and Derek Dietrich with RBI hits. Freddie Galvis, though, continues to have a nice year power-wise. His 2nd RBI of the game. Funnel cake, I'm told. Oh, okay. Now I see the funnel cake. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini, Rich Waltz with you in Philly. That's a funnel cake. Now I get it.
That's a funnel cake.
Wasn't sure when I saw it in the.
Is that Craig? Is that Craig carrying that?
Because that would mean Craig would be carrying the camera.
Oh yeah, he can't do those 2 teams
Yeah, this
at the same time.
It doesn't work. He may be going to Craig. JT Realmuto's behind the plate. Realmuto pinch hit for Jeff Mathis, so he stays in the ball game. Mike Dunn now becomes reliever number 3. Andrew Kashner, 4 innings, 3 runs. Do you think Pat Shine and Dan Budrika get to eat cheesesteaks in the? Probably not. In the replay.
Pat Shine is locked into that seat pretty much.
Right.
From first pitch until.
No sustenance, no refreshments.
Yeah, he's got to be careful what he selects.
He doesn't want to get like cheese on the dial or the controls.
Can't mess up the video equipment there.
Marlins replay percentage is one of the best in baseball. Last we checked, that was about a month ago. Not necessarily something that they publish in USA Today on a daily basis. But the Marlins have, since they've instituted replay, have been at the very least in the top 5 in the National League, if not top 5 in all of baseball. Borges, his first at bat, and a fastball check swing, no swing. There's Bob Davidson. Hernandez and Quinn. You've got 9-1-2 for the Phils, who, from the Marlins' perspective, have been filled with plenty of fight. Borges lifts it. Ozuna backing up, makes the catch. The Phillies have won 10 of 18. This is the last game of the year between the two. And of course, for the Marlins, I don't want to say famously, maybe infamously, this has been the year of struggle against the teams like the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves that have really hurt the Marlins. Now that September has come around and they find themselves 6 out in the wild card.
When you look at the division standings and record versus the East, the Marlins have the least amount of wins, 26-36 against the East. And that's where you have to be able to play better in your own division since you're playing so many more games.
Is that where the Nationals have separated themselves?
Yeah, Nationals are 48-21 versus the East. Also 46-28 on the at home, 42-32 on the road.
Dietrich, long throw, and it's going to be a base hit. Hernandez can run, and so an infield single.
Yeah, I think Dietrich just took too much time to stop and gather his strength for his throw. And with the speedy Rodriguez. Or Hernandez, sorry. He beat it up pretty easily.
Here's Quinn. And he'll take a strike. Well, the Twins are putting up a fight, but the Mets are still up 3-2 as that ball game goes into the top of the 9th inning in New York. Mets are trying to continue the run they're on right now. They've won 7 of 10. Chance to get win number 80. You mentioned the Nationals. They're at 88-60 going into play today. The Dodgers have 84 wins. And so even though it feels like and looks like the Nationals have wrapped up the East, they haven't done it mathematically yet. There's still that push to host their first round playoff game. The Cubs have 94 wins, Washington 88, the Dodgers 84. With 2 weeks left, you get cold and another team gets hot, you could lose that home field. In either direction, if the Nationals get hot and run off a bunch of wins and the Cubs sputter around 500, or of course as we mentioned, if the Dodgers get hot, they're 4 back of the Nationals. Dodgers are in Arizona tonight. Quinn takes a strike. And the Nationals right now are delayed in Atlanta. Not at the airport, but in the top of the 6th. 3-1. Although that happens a lot there.
Oh, does it?
At that airport.
At that airport and at that ballpark.
3-1 Atlanta on top of the Nationals in the 6th.
Notoriously long delays in Atlanta at Turner Field, Fulton County Stadium. They just waited forever to play the baseball game. They would not call them.
Hernandez at first, done. Two and two. Cubs are losing, by the way, 2-0 to Milwaukee. That's bottom of the 6th at Wrigley. High chopper, Dietrich feeds, Gordon turns, safe. There's the speed that Craig was talking about with Roman Quinn. It's a good feed by Dietrich.
With D. Gordon coming back and playing second base, Derek Dietrich hasn't gotten a whole lot of playing time in the infield. We've seen him out in left field at first base. Today with the Prado ejection. Gets pushed into third. But I think option for the Marlins going forward is him somewhere in the infield. If they're not able to re-sign Martin Prado, for instance.
Runner goes, Dunn's got him picked, Boers throw to second, and the tag applied by Echeverria. And thus ends the bottom of the 7th inning. 4-2 Phillies. All right, thank you, Jessica. The Fanatic sends his regards. He was a little startled to see Craig on the trip, but he says to say hello. Normally, the Fanatic messes Craig's hair up. It's kind of a tradition. Don't know that we've seen that just yet. He's been all over this ballpark, that's for sure. Derek Dietrich, Ichiro, Christian Yelich in the 8th. Hector Neris came in and struck out D. Gordon on 3 pitches to finish the 7th. And Dietrich's bat is perking up. 6-game hit streak. And he's got 4 hits in 6 at-bats in this series.
See Neris coming in 96 miles an hour when he faced D. Gordon. Threw him 3 straight changeups.
That looked like a pretty good pitch, although the way Dietrich reacted, it was up. It was up. Well, the last time Ichiro and Mr. Neris saw each other, Ichi was the killer. That's a pinch hit home run. The first of his career, believe it or not.
That is tough to believe. Although, probably for the first
didn't do any
12,
pitch hitting.
12 years of his career, didn't miss any games. There's nothing to pitch hit for.
Yes. That ball gets by the catcher Alfaro, and Dietrich's going to get down to second. It's going to be a pass ball. Yeah, and I would expect anytime Ichiro got a day off those first 12, 13 years, it was a day off for good. And it's the American League, so there's not a whole lot of pinch hitting going on.
Right.
Fastball's a strike. Neris is having a really good year.
With their bullpen arms or any indication about their rebuilding process, they've done a pretty good job. Neris is kind of indicative of what they're rolling out there. Upper 90s fastball, good changeup. Good take by Ichiro.
There's the change. Dietrich's at second, a walk and a pass ball. Miami down 2 on this hazy afternoon in Philly, where David Phelps is at the ready in Miami's pen.
So just in case you're curious, Ichiro's had 152 plate appearances as a pinch hitter.
152. He did not fare well as a pinch hitter last year. That's changed this year. He's had more success. Two and two. Lifted into shallow left. And Quinn is under it and makes the catch. If you're wondering where Martin Prado is, he was ejected after being called out on strikes in the 3rd by Dale Scott, the home plate umpire. Don Manley went out and argued for a while as well. He was not ejected. For Prado, just his second career ejection.
Martine's pretty level-headed, diplomatic. Not surprised that he hasn't been thrown out very many times.
How many times were you ejected in your illustrious career?
Once.
Really?
One time.
And for balls and strikes?
Yes, it was balls and strikes. The umpire, I believe, was Gibson.
Tripp Gibson.
Greg Gibson.
Greg Gibson. Bob Gibson. Yelich down the left field line. That's well hit into the corner, and it's gone. That's a home run. Yelich has hit it out. Christian Yelich on his way to third. The Phillies throw it in, but this is a home run. And so Christian Yelich has tied this game. It's only 3:29 to the foul pole, and Yelich hit it off the foul pole, it looked like.
This is an absolute rocket. Opposite field. How many times we see Christian Yelich go opposite field home run? He did 3 times in a row at Citi Field in New York. He does it again here tonight for his 19th homer.
Now that's the little apparatus that is on the side of the foul pole. It helps the umpires as a visual. And Yelich hit it off the very bottom of that, so he just got it over the fence. Let's watch. Oh, you know what? It got by the pole. It actually hit the fence. It looks like it just. Oh, it may have glanced off the netting because it's moving. You can see the net actually wiggle after the ball goes by.
Yep, definitely hits the net.
So 19 home runs for Yelich.
RBI is number 92 and 93.
And a brand new ball game here at 4-4 with Ozuna up. And they count 1 ball and 1 strike.
Of course, Yelich coming into this year, 9 home runs was his career high with 54 RBIs. So every time he hits a homer or drives in a run, it's a new career high.
Yelich also 4 doubles shy of 40. Ozuna pops it. Oh, and it's dropped. Joseph and Hernandez dropped it. Hernandez went a long way. Joseph was there as well. Ozuna's at second base. As routine a pop-up as you're going to see.
Yeah, that's just a lack of communication. You don't see any of them, either of them talking to each other. And Ozuna takes off about right here. Good hustle.
Tommy Joseph, converted catcher. And here is Bohr. And the Marlins try to make that pay. Bohr, Joseph has that one. Flips it, nearest to the bag. Ozuna ends up at third. So who do you give the error to on that?
They're calling that a double.
No, 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 no. There's no way.
That can't be right.
No, you got to give an error to
Yeah.
somebody. Probably Hernandez.
I was going to say.
And they've changed it now to E4. But Ozuna's 90 feet away. And here's Real Muto.
Be nice if JT comes through with a big 2-out RBI. JT's hitting .280 overall with men in scoring position. .311 on the season. Still in the top 10 as far as average is concerned in the National League.
Behind third, Franco, and he's safe, and the run scores. Real Muto with a base hit. How about that? The Phillies open the door, the Marlins run right through. And the error and the mix-up between Hernandez and Joseph is really costly.
Yeah, Franco has to go a long way for this ball, and with JT's speed, he's got no chance.
So here's Echeverria. It's going to go as an infield hit, we expect, for Real Muto with an RBI. Phillies have committed 2 errors in the ball game, including that one on the Ozuna pop-up. Echeverria to left. It's pretty well hit. Quinn is back, and he makes the catch. A 2-run homer by Christian Yelich. That ties it. And then a costly error by the Phillies. And just like that, it's 5-4.
Park, 3 runs for the Marlins in the top of the 8th. There's probably a radio host out in South Florida who's a little concerned now and starting to wobble. His name is Brendan Tobin, and Christian Yelich was made aware of this story a few weeks ago when Tobin went on the air when he had 15 homers, said there's no way he's going to hit 20, and said that I will eat crow if he hits 20 home runs. So he went on the radio and said that, and now Christian had a hot road trip last time home run wise. He's within 1 of hitting that 20 mark, and they say they will fry a crow on the outside. I believe it is the 790 ticket offices, and have Brendan, if Yelich can hit 20 guys, eat crow. How about that?
Where do you find that? Whole Foods?
I didn't
I
think that
think
was
they have to order it.
I thought that was a figurative term, not.
No, I think it, because it's so bad that became a saying. You eat crow because of you don't do it.
Wow.
From what I understand. So.
Odubel Herrera has to back out of the way of a Mike Dunn fastball. I saw Johnson at first. Rojas is now at third. And so the Marlins go into their defensive alignment. You got Real Muto, of course, behind the plate. So there's been a lot of changes. And Herrera lines one to right, and it's caught on a running catch by Ozuna. That's a ball that in most ballparks is a hit because the right fielder will be playing deeper.
You're right, Rich, because the shallow right field here at Citizens Bank Park. Marcell Ozuna gets a great jump coming in on that ball. It's probably the toughest ball that an outfielder has to make a catch on, is that sinking line drive that's right at him.
It's a nice inning in the third from Mike Dunn. Don Mattingly going to go to the bullpen. Kendall Toyota getting their money's worth. Joseph, who is 2 for 3, homered in last night's ball game. So here's Phelps pitching in the 8th.
Familiar spot for David Phelps earlier in the year, was very effective in that 8th inning role before they acquired Fernando Rodney.
I know he won't get the award, but I think David Phelps' name needs to be mentioned if you talk about a Marlins MVP, because he's been extremely valuable, first in that middle role and then sliding towards the back of the pen very good as a starter. And now, as you noted, strangely enough, he's right back into the bullpen. And after a few soft landings, he finds himself in high leverage spots. But he walks Tommy Joseph.
Just off that pitch number 5.
Here's Franco now. He's 0 for 3. Miami trying to get back to a game under 500 and look for win 74 here. Fish are 2 under, 73 and 75.
It's kind of that benchmark. If you can't make the playoffs as a team, as an organization, you'd love to finish above 500. Just say you've had a winning record for the season.
Well, and especially for the Marlins, who have had such a not only a long drought for the postseason, but in terms of a 500 record, it has been a while. Franco didn't like the call. It's 1-2.
And rightfully so. Pitch number 3 is well off the plate.
Marlins were 87 and 75 back in 2009. That's strike 3 called. Franco doesn't like it, shakes his head. That's way off too. That area has been a real trouble spot for Dale Scott.
I think he's having so much difficulty calling that down on a way strike. You see him get down, crouch down, and I don't know if he's just not getting a good look at it over JT's shoulder. Franco not happy about that call.
That was very similar to the at-bat that saw Martin Prado ejected. Phelps will take it. And now he sets his sights on Galvis, who knocked in a run with a single in the first, homered in the 6th. Galvis into left center field. My goodness, the Marlins just can't get him out. Ichiro cuts it off. Joseph holds second.
He looks like he's got so much confidence at the plate right now. Just a nice, smooth, easy swing. Wow. He's red hot right now.
Jorge Alfaro now for the Phillies. The Mets have won 3-2. They beat the Twins. So it's 5 straight for the Mets. Jerry Blevins, a 4-out save out of the Mets bullpen.
It's almost a repeat of 2015 with the Mets. How they really turned it on down the stretch and made that postseason push.
The difference is they're doing it without the services, without the services of some pretty good starting pitchers, some great starting pitching. Obviously Matt Harvey, but Jacob deGrom is also out for the rest of the year.
That was announced yesterday. That's a valuable piece of that rotation that they're going to miss come playoff time.
in that T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball, and addressing DeGrom, the headline kind of said more despair. If that's the type of, if that's despair, man, the Marlins would like a piece of that.
Yeah.
How about David Phelps coming in? Phelps with a strikeout of Alfaro and leaves 2 on to the 9th. It's 5-4. Is still apparent. You can see the web in the breeze, though we have not had a visit from our spider friend. Five-4 ball game. Marlins on top. They do by Ramos for the Phillies, as the Marlins try to add on here. A Dubry Ramos. That's the pronunciation we were given.
A Dubry?
A Dubry. And he misses up to Destin Hood. Hood getting an at bat here. Chance to pinch hit, and he swings and misses at a breaking ball. This is the pitcher spot, the 9 spot for the Marlins.
Ramos got called up from the minor leagues on June 26th.
Hood knocks it into center, and Herrera is there and makes the catch. No off day for the Fish. Back at it tomorrow night, and it's at home, and it's Wei-Yin Chen's ball game. Off the DL, onto the mound, and into the fire against the Washington Nationals. A.J. Cole for the Nats. Jose Fernandez-Tanner Roark matchup in Game 2.
Chen, one of the DL July 29th. He's not pitched a game since July 29th.
And he hasn't, and the key word there is hasn't pitched a game. The Marlins are unable to really run him down into the minor leagues to rehab, so it's been a lot of simulated games. In a simulated game, oftentimes you'll get some of the reserves out there, guys that don't get a lot of at-bats, and they'll take at-bats and just run through a half-hour cycle and try to get that pitch count and the game speed and delivery off the mound as close as you can get it to game type conditions. Gordon RBI single in the 5th. And he cracks this one up the middle. Backhanded Hernandez. Nice play.
That's a good point, Rich, because See, D. Gordon hits this ball well. Hernandez makes a nice play.
A.J. Ramos in Miami's pen. Miguel Rojas, his first at bat.
Yeah, as far as Chen's concerned, with the minor league seasons finishing up late August, early September, he didn't have a chance to go down and get a rehab start or two with the minor league affiliates.
Ball and a strike to Rojas. Phillies will have 8-9-1 scheduled for the bottom of the ninth. Last game here for the Fish this year. Last game against the Phillies as well. Rojas into right center. And a quick inning for one Ramos. And another inning starts for A.J. Ramos. Florida. Brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Ram, get power you can depend on Ram Power Days. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. A.J. Ramos on the mound here in Philly. Marlins trying to close out a 5-4 win. To do that, Ramos needs 3 outs. A.J. 36 of 39. At the bottom of the order, the Phillies are going to run up a pinch hitter. Andres Blanco gets the first crack at Ramos in the ninth. First pitch breaking ball misses. Blanco, Marlins saw earlier in this series.
AJ's 36 saves this year, our new career high. Kind of took over that closer's spot after the struggles of Fernando Rodney. The Marlins first traded for Fernando Rodney. He was the Eighth inning setup guy for AJ. When AJ got hurt, Fernando Rodney stepped in, did a pretty nice job, and then took over that closer role when AJ came back from the DL.
He's fallen behind 3-0, and he pipes a fastball, and it's 3-1. Jimmy Paredes is on deck, and that may have helped Ramos out there. Blanco going after a pitch that looked in. Not sure he's going to get that strike, though. Although today you never know.
Today.
That's true.
Today I think he does. That's a hot spot down there today.
In the air. Rojas has room, and he makes the catch.
Wow, what a nice pitch there by A.J. Ramos.
To come back from 3-0.
Goes with a 3-2 changeup.
Toyota and the all-new RAV4 give you an inside look. Trailing after 8. The Phillies 1-70. How about that? The two teams that are tied for the wild card are tied in this stat. The Mets and the Giants. And neither has won a game when trailing after 8.
Wow, that's surprising to me.
That doesn't happen very often. You saw that the numbers are quite low on average throughout baseball. Paredes will hit in Borges' spot.
Good
There's a
changeup.
changeup again.
We talked a lot about how A.J. Ramos can find that one pitch that's most effective of his repertoire on a day. And so far it looks like that changeup is it.
Two and one. The Mets have won. They beat the Twins 3-2. Giants and Cardinals are scoreless in the third. Pirates have lost 7-4. Marlins can pull back even with the Pirates with a win here. Ramos, just like he did with Blanco, has fallen behind Jimmy Paredes. You almost have to think backwards with Ramos, don't you?
Yeah, I was just going to say once again, 3-1, you're thinking heater all the way as a hitter. And Paredes, you saw the arm speed and was swinging at a heater, but it was a curveball.
Another curveball. And it stays at 3-2. Four or five in save opportunities since he came off the DL. Realmuto checks Paredes, and that looks like off speed. And it was a changeup, and he bounced it. So he stayed changeup on 3-2. Now the tying run is at first with one out. Now you get into Cesar Hernandez. Hernandez has walked twice, lined out, and singled. Not a big lead by Paredes. Johnson holding him tight. Ball and a strike. Marlins have come back in this ball game. They were down 3-0. Then down 4-2, and now up 5-4.
Christian Yelich, a game-tying opposite field home run. A big error by the Phillies that opened the door for the Marlins there in the top of the 8th. Score the go-ahead run.
Bouncer wide of first.
Chris Johnson at first base is hugging that line. Not going to let a ground ball get from in between him and the base for a double.
Breaking ball, bouncer. Gordon has it. He's going to get the out at first. And the Phillies have the tying run in scoring position with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. It's going to be the rookie, Roman Quinn. I think Gordon, once he saw Paredes pass by him with the ball to his left, figured first base was the best bet.
Sometimes better get that sure out than rather force a throw to get that lead runner, and then you've got 2 guys on.
There's a bouncer. Gordon has it, flips to first. Ball game. Marlins win it. So the Fish, frustrated the first 2 nights here in Philly, come through with a comeback win. Christian Yelich, the 2-run homer, a big one. And then the Marlins used some bad Phillies defense to pick up that final run.